Attendance tracking is one of the tools in Ultra that may be useful to you in your course eventually, but there are a few caveats and workarounds for right now that it might be helpful to be aware of. You'll find attendance tracking over here on the left-hand side of your main course window under Details and Actions. Click on Mark Attendance to open it. If you haven't added it to your course yet, you'll see a button here in the middle that says Add Attendance, and you'd click that to add it to your course. Click on the gear icon in the top right to customize the settings and choose whether it's added to the student's grade. If you choose to add attendance to your course at any time, be aware that you can't remove the attendance once it's been added. Students will be able to see it, whether it's in their gradebook or not. Also, attendance is always set to 100% or points, so if you have a different point value, you'll need to set your overall grade to weighted and change the relative values in the final grade calculation. So closing out of settings, let's take a look at the attendance tracker. You'll notice in the top right that meeting is selected. So that's telling us that we're marking the attendance for today's session. If you click on overall, you would be able to see the student's overall attendance score. And here you can mark them as present, late, absent, or excused for any of the meeting dates that you'd set in the course schedule or on days that you've added attendance. The other issue that you may encounter is that you can excuse students' absences on a particular day, but you can't set a default number of excused or allowed absences. There's not an option for that at this point. Now, if you did choose to add it to the gradebook, if you go back to the gradebook tab and look at gradable items, you'll see attendance now has its own row. If you click into that, you'll see that attendance page again, just like we saw before. You can quickly mark attendance for today here or navigate to the overall attendance tracker to mark a previous date in the course. To show you what it looks like for students, let's open up Student Preview and go into the gradebook. If you added attendance to the gradebook, students will see their attendance and whether they've been marked present, late, absent, or excused, and what their overall attendance score is. Students can also see this on the front page of their course under Details and Actions on the left side. There's a space for them to view their attendance, and it would be that same view where they are able to see their present, late, absent, or excused, whether or not it's graded. If you decide not to use the attendance tool, you could manually create a column in the Grade Center that you update every week or two. The way to manually add a column in the Grade Center is under Gradebook in the Grades tab. You'll see if I hover over the end here or in between any of the icons, I have a plus sign that shows up. So you can add an item. You would call it something like attendance, and you can put the due date at the end of the semester and set how many points you want to grade with. So for instance, if you have a 10-week course that meets twice a week with no excused absences, you could set it to 20 points and have each class meeting count for 1 point. You can also change that to a letter grade, percentage, or just complete and incomplete. You do have to choose a grade category, so you can pick whichever one makes sense to you, or I'll show you how to create your own category in just a minute. In the description here, it would probably be helpful to type the date that you updated the attendance grade so that you can manually update that description or the title every week or two, just to note what date you've updated it. You can also choose whether this grade is visible to students or hidden from students. So we'll click Save, and before we manually add attendance, let's point out a couple other settings. The gear icon on the far right is the gradebook settings. So if we click on that and scroll down to the bottom where it says Grade Categories, this is where you could add your own category. So I've added one that's called Manual Attendance, and it automatically gives you this blank page icon. There's not a way to change what that icon is at this point, but that's just what the manually added grade categories are. So I've added that as a grade category, and now I can go back into the attendance, edit it, and choose that as the grade category. Now I also want to show you how to exclude the attendance grade. The way you can do that is go into Gradable Items and open up the overall grade. Navigate back to Calculation Details. Find your Manual Attendance category. You'll see this drop down. Click the circle with the slash through it to exclude it from the overall grade calculation. then click Save. So then if I go back into grades, I can easily add the attendance for each student. So let's say we're midway through the semester and there have been 10 class sessions. This first student's attended all the sessions, as well as the second student. This student has missed half, this student's only missed 2 so far, and this student's attended all of them. So then the next week I could come back and click on the attendance icon, edit it, update it to today's date, and say that we've had 2 more classes and everyone was there for all of them. So I would just add 2 to each of the student grades. We hope this has been a helpful introduction to some of Blackboard Ultra's tools. If you're an instructor who needs support in Ultra, contact UAA's instructional design team at UAA_design@alaska.edu. If you're a student who needs support in Ultra, contact the UAA Technical Support Center by calling 907-786-4646 or emailing uaa.techsupport@alaska.edu.